If I could go back in time, talk to my little 14-year-old self, let's say I built a time machine, I'm getting close to doing so, this is exactly what I would say, especially right before I would get into trading. These are things I wish somebody would have told me to put me on the right path. Again, it took me a very long time to become profitable. It might take you a lot less time. It might take you longer. And who knows, man? Everybody's different. Everybody's learned different. Some people are more stupid. Some people are smarter, man. It's just the way you're born, the way the world works. But without further ado, let's just get right into this, guys. And I love these kind of unfiltered, unedited videos where it's just me kind of talking to you, breaking down lessons, and I'm not trying to make any income claims, man. Like, especially, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know who's watching this video. Could be a complete idiot, right? Could be a complete stupid head. I don't know. So no income claims, man. All I want to do is share the things that I picked up from being in the market for a very, very long time. And hopefully, main goal here is to help you guys do this. And if I can help just one person by making these videos, honestly, my work here is complete, because we went through some bad times, went through some dark paths, that's for sure. It's not fun. It's lonely. It's honestly, you doubt yourself on a daily basis. You ask yourself, is this worth it? Am I being stupid? Am I wasting my time? I got people relying on me. Am I wasting my money? And this is stuff that's going to go on in your head for a very long time until you start to see any results. That's why this thing is so hard, bro. It's like the only thing you can do in the world where you just put in all this time, all this effort, all this money, and you see no results. You see nothing. In fact, you see the exact opposite of results. You just see losses and losses and losses and losses and losses. But you got to keep going, right? You got to keep going. If you stop, then it's all for nothing. And if you keep going, it's the only way it's going to be worth it, man. And a big thing is every loss is going to be a lesson. We'll talk about that kind of in the later end of this section as well. But at the very end of the video, if y'all stay tuned, we're going to be dropping a little bit of a secret sauce for you guys. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I really, really wanted to talk about is the simplicity of a strategy. So you have to be able to break down your strategy for a complete dummy, like a complete moron. And if they understand what you're doing, and if you could tell them, you could write it down, and they could do exactly what you're doing on a daily basis, that's how you know you got yourself a good strategy. So me trying to explain my strategy to a dummy would be super simple. So I'm going to be looking to trade the overall trend of the market. And why? Like, people see the trend is your friend, but why is the trend your friend? Why do you want to trade the trend of a market, right? Looking at any chart, let's just zoom out. I like to zoom out, look at the 4 hour, but looking at any chart, what you'll notice is on average, we spend more time continuing a trend than we do breaking a trend, right? All you got to do is just get the average time we're in a trend, average time we're breaking a trend, and average time we form a new trend, and how long we stay and continue in this trend. There's a crazy amount, right? You'll see a huge number of times, a huge number of time, right, where we're in a trend continuing versus breaking a trend. So if you trade with the trend, your probability of winning, no matter what setup or strategy you're trading, just goes through the roof. It's much higher because you're playing into something that has been working out for a longer period of time. It's just common math, common sense, is basic probability. The market tends to continue a trend. It's not me making it up. It's not just me just, saying random shit. You look at a chart and see, oh, we spent 9 months in a bullish trend. 1 month we broke out, and then the next 5 months we were in a bearish trend. So just get the average time. It's a big, big thing. Now, the next thing we have going on here, hold on, my mother's texting me. Shout out, Mom. She's doing okay. She's doing okay. But the next thing we got to be going for is, after we know the trend, right? Let's say we're right on the trend. That's why we go with the trend. What do I need to do next? I need to know where I can get in. Like, let's say we have a bullish trend, right? Let's say the market's going up, right? Do I want to get in at the high, right? At the very, very high? Do I want to get in at the very, very low? Where do I want to get in to have the best chance of winning? So in a bullish trend, we make lower highs, and we make higher highs, we make higher lows as well. So we make higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So what I want to do is get in long at the higher low, because the next thing that's going to happen, if we're right on the trend, which we have a good chance of being right, it's going to make a higher high. So what we do is we use supply and demand, which is just liquidity levels, right? We know this is a level on the chart where there's seen a significant amount of buying or selling pressure from either side. And this is the level on the chart where I want to see price go back into, where I want to see price test this level. So then we can go ahead and continue the trend if I'm correct, supply and demand levels. Then I need an entry trigger. I need confirmation, which I use volume. I use order flow. And all I need to do is see. We know the trend is bullish. We're in a demand level. This is going to be the higher low, meaning we're going to go into a higher high if I'm right. I need to see confirmation from volume. I want to see sellers die out. Right? Sellers dying out on a demand level where we know there's big buyers. Great indication. Sellers getting absorbed by passive buyers in demand level. Great indication. And I have plenty of videos on my YouTube channel about this. In fact, if you join my free Discord, I'll link it down below. There's a bunch of free videos on there as well y'all could watch, and just ask me questions in the Discord. If you actually at me in the Discord, ask me questions. I'm pretty quick to reply, so I recommend you do that. The next thing I want to talk about is the probability and your risk to reward ratio, your R multiple, whatever you want to call it, different numbers, different things. But you have to be able and accept that you're never going to be right all the time, right? You're going to be wrong a lot, and that's normal. I mean, I have some setups with a 50% win rate. I mean, the half the time I take that setup, I'm fucking losing money. So, and this is where risk to reward comes in, right? You know your win rate. You know the possibility of you winning a setup is 50%, whether from forward testing, back testing, a crap load. You just know if I take this exact descriptive, definitive thing right here that I can write down and give to a complete idiot and they could do it, I have a 50% chance of winning, right? So that means you have to risk a 2-to-1 every single time for probability to work out in your favor. If every time you lose, let's say you take 2 trades, you lose 1, you win 1. Just times that by 1,000 to be close to 50-50. I like to use a flipping a coin analogy on this. Like, let's say you have a coin, right? Heads and tails. You flip that shit 10 times, you can get heads 10 times in a row, right? You flip that shit 1,000,000,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, it's going to get closer to 50-50 every single time, which is why the risk reward ratio is key. With the 50% win rate, like a coin flip is 50%, right? You flip that 1,000 times, the probability is going to be close. The probability of it landing on heads versus tails is going to be closer than 50-50 every single time. Meaning that, like, you record it flip 1,000 times. It'll be the more and more you do it, the more closer the numbers of heads and tails is going to be. It's just simple math. You probably learned this in like 5th grade, I think. But that means if every time I lose $50, but every time I win $100. So every time a coin lands on heads, I win 200. Every time a coin lands on tails, I lose 100, right? So let's say you get 1 loss, 1 win, you're up $100. This is how trading works. It's gambling. Anytime you're risking money for a potential reward, you're gambling, right? Whether you're running paid ads, whatever it is, you're investing money into a business, buying real estate, you're gambling. You're straight up gambling. So it is gambling in a sense, but it's educated gambling. It's calculated gambling. Now you have your risk reward ratio, you know the probability, and you know that if you keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over again, just like the house, right? Casinos, right? The house and casinos, they always win. Doesn't mean they're going to win on a day-to-day basis, but in the long term, they know if they keep doing the same shit, the odds are slightly lean towards their favor. They're going to win. And you're the house when it comes to trading. You have to act like the house. It's the only way to keep yourself alive. So if every time we land on heads, I make $200, every time we land on tails, I lose $100, I keep doing that same shit every day for 1,000 trades, I will end up profitable. I will end up green. I have to tell myself that every single day. The issue with this, kind of leaning on to my next topic here, is being able to lose. People are not able to lose. People don't like losing. I hate losing. I'm competitive as fuck. Literally, I signed up to run a half marathon tomorrow, this Saturday, the 25th. I don't know what time you're watching this. I don't like running, never trained for it, right? The only reason I'm running this half marathon is because my sister's doing it. She just had a baby. So if she's running a half marathon, I'm dead ass going to be running that too. And I'm going to be trying to get a better time than her as well. I'm just a competitive person by nature. So losing for me was hard. But if you don't get better at losing, you're never going to be able to make it because you're going to lose so often. Like, I mean, I lose every month. There's a loss. Every single month is a loss. I'm losing. I'm sitting in front of my computer screen, planning out my day. The weekends, I plan out my weekends. Every single day with the mentorship students on Sunday night, we meet. We plan out the week, spending hours doing that. I wake up hours before the open, planning out my day, and sit in front of the screen for another 2 hours. Basically, my trading, I probably trade for around 3 hours a day. For my pre-market analysis to my actual trading. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours, depending if I get a good entry confirmation early or not. But sometimes it's more, right? And I spend that time for the chart and I lose money, right? And you lose money after all those hours you spent. You got to be able to be used to that. That's just another day in the office. And this is why this is different than any other job in the world. Because you have a bad day at work. Let's say you have a bad day at work, a bad week. Let's just make this even better. Let's say you're a seller, right? You sell whatever the fuck you sell. You sell cars. And you have a bad day at work. You're off commission. You don't make any sales. Great. You had a bad day. You don't make any money. Who cares, right? If you're a trader and you have a bad week at work, you lose fucking money. It's the only job in the world where if you have a bad week of work, not only do you not make any money, but you lose money, man. And that's so hard for people to accept. So first thing you got to do, I would tell my little self, they're like, Elder, be used to fucking learning. Or not be learning. You got to be used to learning as well, but be used to fucking losing, bro. You're going to lose a lot of money, Elder. You're going to make a fuck ton of money. You're going to lose it all, and that's going to happen a couple of times, and you're going to lose. But as long as you learn from every single loss, you're going to be just fine in the end. Just be ready to lose, be prepared to lose, and accept the loss. And one of the biggest tips that really helped me was every time before I went into a trade, I knew exactly how much money I was going to lose if I was wrong. And I would just go into a trade thinking it was going to be a loss. So I was already okay with the loss. Let's say I'm in a trade and validation was found. If I lose this trade, I lose $1,000. And I was going into that trade thinking that I lost $1,000. I was like, okay, I just lost a K. I'm in the trade, whatever. So if I ended up losing my money, I was like, okay, whatever. I knew I was going to lose. I ended up winning, which is a nice plus. So just going into every trade thinking it's going to be a loss helped me significantly. And the next thing is just having a long-term perspective. Kind of goes into the being able to lose, going into the probability and risk reward ratio we talked about, going into be able to explain your strategy to a dummy. It's all probability, right? Long-term perspective is key, because if you struggle with losing, it probably means you have a short-term perspective and you want to make money that day or today or right now. And going back to our, coin flip analogy, you can flip a coin 10, 20 times in a row and it's all heads. That means you can take a trade 10, 20 times in a row and you lose every single one. But you take 1,000, 2,000 trades, it's going to get closer and closer to that 50-50. You're going to be in the green eventually if you keep doing the same thing you're fucking doing now. So don't go hopping around from strategy to strategy. Don't go changing your shit up because you're fucking with probability. Probability is the only thing you have on your side, the only thing that's going to make you profitable in the long run. So instead of thinking you need to make money now, this week, today, yesterday, you need to make money this year. You need to survive. That's your main goal. You want to survive long enough to have probability work out in your favor. You don't need to make money today. You don't need to make money tomorrow. You need to survive long enough to have probability work out in your favor. That's it. You switch your mindset to that, you're going to have, honestly, a much better time trading. You're going to, honestly, stop going crazy, stop doing dumb shit. And man, you have no idea how many students I sit with on a one-on-one basis, and I look at their shit, I look at their performance. First of all, most people don't know how to track their data. The first thing we fix is, bro, fix your tracking. This isn't going to help us. You have years worth of data that is pointless. It's meaningless. There's nothing we get off of this data. That's the first thing we have to do. Second thing is, we see all these psychological issues they're having, right? And what I like to do is nitpick those fucking outlier loss days. You know exactly what I'm talking about, where you have months and months of win streaks, weeks and weeks of win streaks. One day wipes out your whole account. One day, those outlier losses. Then we look into those days, we dive in, and they're like, okay, what's the trigger that caused this tilt to happen? And every single time there's a trigger, whether you get stopped out right before it hits TP, whether you're distracted and you miss on a setup, whether you get, a tick away from TP and it stops you at break even, whatever it is, these triggers cause you to go on tilt and ruin your fucking day, ruin your fucking account. And I tell everybody, this is the number one way I fix things, I fix problems with people that have psychological issues, is you have all these issues because you care about this, because you care about money, because you care about this account, you care about how much money you're putting on the line. And as long as you care about that money, you're going to keep having those issues. So you have to completely detach yourself from the trade, detach yourself from the money, detach yourself from the emotions. And most people aren't mentally strong enough to be able to do that on their own, right? And what I'm talking about is, a lot of people I help and I mentor aren't avid, like they don't go to the gym every day. They don't, work out every day. They don't eat healthy. They don't do things, hard things that they're supposed to do in life. So for me, I had to not just become a decent trader. I had to work on my outside life. I had to do things I didn't want to do to build my brain. Your brain technically can be considered a muscle. You should treat it like a muscle. Every time you do something you don't want to do, your brain's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So I love doing things. That's why I'm doing the half marathon tomorrow. Even though I hate fucking running, it's boring as fuck. I love doing things I don't want to do because I know it makes me stronger in the end. And this is why I'm able to trade such high amount of size without giving a fuck, because I detach myself from that. So you're not going to be able to do that right away. So what you have to do is decrease your size to something so insignificant to you, so to whether you win or lose, you don't give a fuck about that money, and build consistency that way. Not dollar returns, but percentage returns, right? And it could be even small as it is $1. So some people I teach sometimes, care about $50. Sure. And if you care about $50, drop that shit to $5. Meaning every trade you take, you lose $5, you give no fucks about that $5, you move on. You do this until you build consistency. That consistency will then give you confidence to when you size up, right? You'll have a much better time, a little bug attacking me, to when you size up, you'll have a much better time. Because the confidence will already be there. So you won't hesitate. You won't do all this dumb shit. You'll know from trading small size, if I do the same thing over and over again, my account will grow. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully this will help you guys maybe shave some time off your learning curve. I know it would have helped me, and I'll watch y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments. Join the free Discord. I'll probably will get back to you faster there. I have a bunch of educational videos on my channel if you haven't checked it out yet, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace out.